about the woman movies? Should we do that? Instead of those other articles, let's go into this one that I found about the woman movies. Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, watch. From Spiked. Why feminist films flop. No, misogyny is not to blame for the box office woes of the new Charlie's Angels film. Now, this is old. 22nd November 2019. The new film reboot of the Charlie's Angels franchise will be released in the UK next week. It is written, directed, and produced by Elizabeth Banks, who also stars in it as the wisecracking Bosley. Maybe she did the catering too. Whatever. Banks is a genuinely funny character, and the Pitch Perfect movies she produced are highly enjoyable. But I was not excited to see Charlie's Angels, and that seems to reflect the wider sentiment. The film bombed at the box office. It cost $48 million to make, but only brought in $8.6 million on its opening weekend. Whose fault is that, ladies? Is that men's fault? Well, the very first Charlie's Angels, the one with Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu, that one was huge. So whose fault is that, ladies? Is that men's fault? I loved it. I loved Cameron Diaz. When she came out in her underwear, damn. You know, do you think they did that in this movie? Probably, absolutely not. Probably not. And, well, sex, there shouldn't be any sex in the movies. Like, that's objectifying women. Look, sex sells. Why are you crying? Well, sex sells. What, you think women are going to Aquaman to watch Amber Heard? Oh, it's okay when Jason Momoa does it, isn't it? It's okay then, isn't it? There are several competing theories as to why this has happened. Some cite the film's lack of star power. Yeah, who was in it? Who are these three chicks? Who is that? That's Kristen Stewart. I don't even know who that is, and I don't even know who that is. Who are these three women? Like, why would... And then Kristen Stewart has, like, a man haircut. What? And then you wonder why the fucking thing bombed. Really? And we could probably find an article about 355. Holy shit, is this going to turn into, a shitting on feminist movies thing? I think it might. Others point to a reboot fatigue among cinema goers. Some of the more feminist reviewers have aired their disappointment that while the film is a more feminist take on Charlie's Angels, it doesn't do enough to shake the jiggle television of the original show and two early 2000s films. Really? But the main factor here seems to be a lack of public interest in feminist remakes. Recent films like Charlie's Angels, Ocean's 8, and Ghostbusters all sold purely off the back of their female-led cast, and in some cases, female-led crew, failed to attract an audience. Yeah, because nobody wants to see that shit. Nobody cares. You want me to tell you the truth? When people see that a movie has turned into one of those feminist movies, you know what they say to themselves? They're like, I'm not going to go watch that shit because I know exactly what it's going to be like. In one of those movies, this is the way they go. You start the movie, and then like 5 or 7 minutes goes by, and then all of a sudden it'll just out of nowhere, it'll be something about men that's negative. Something. It doesn't matter what it is. It'll be something negative about men. And then you're watching the movie and you're like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Why are you talking about men? Why are you talking about cis men? Why are you talking about gender? Like, who the fuck cares? What does that have to do with anything? Like, which one was it? Birds of Prey? I think it was Birds of Prey with Margot Robbie. I remember when they were describing the villain, they literally called him, I believe it was a cis white male, or they called him a white male. Who the fuck cares? Why does that matter? Why does it matter? Why can't you just play the fucking movie? Make the fucking movie. Make a movie. Don't make a feminist infomercial. How about that? Jesus. Female-led crew. And some have inevitably claimed this is because we live in an inherently misogynistic society. Ugh, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go back to it. What's the phrase? Tell me who you can't criticize, and I'll tell you who's in power. And you want me to tell you one of my favorite things about sitting here and shitting on Amber Heard and Evan Rachel Wood is the fact that I'm not supposed to be doing it. I'm not, like, in this society, it's frowned upon to shit on women. Now, Amber Heard shit on his bed, but that's not the kind of shit we're talking about. Okay, it's frowned upon to criticize women in our society today. So I'll say it again. Tell me who you can't criticize, and I'll tell you who's in power. Indeed, Banks had this excuse lined up before her film was even released. Oh my God. If this movie doesn't make money, it reinforces a stereotype in Hollywood that men don't go see women do action movies. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my God. Oh. So stupid. She said in an interview, she even had an answer for why oh my God, here it is. She even had an answer for why Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, which both have, female-led characters, were major hits. Captain Marvel? Yeah, sure, I guess. Men will go see a comic book movie, dude, because that's a male genre. So even though those are movies about women, they put them in the context of feeding the larger comic book world. Yes, you're watching a Wonder Woman movie, but we're setting up 3 other characters and we're setting up Justice League. What kind of fucking bullshit excuse is that? What kind of excuse are you talking about? See, and this is the problem that we have with these movies, man. This is the biggest problem. They don't want to address reality. They want to make it seem as if it's just because men don't want to watch the movie. Bro, do you have any idea? And I said it a little while ago, and I'll go into it again. You have any idea what happens when a man sees that a woman movie, and when I say woman movie, I mean a feminist one. And no feminist, I'm not talking about you. When I say that feminism, I'm talking about anti-male. Men hating men. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the feminism y'all go for. When men see that it's one of those movies, they're like, oh, Jesus Christ. I already know what this movie's going to be about. I already know. And that's what I said about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Don't woke the movie. Please, Netflix. Please don't woke the movie. Like, don't put it somewhere where, the Texas Chainsaw guy is like killing people because of some political reason or some bullshit. Like, they made this movie, I forgot, it was about hunting conservatives or about hunting Republicans. Like, what kind of stupid shit is that? And then you wonder why the movie fucking sucked. You wonder, I think it was called The Hunt, right? Like, when politics are put into movies, it's horrible. It never works. Ever, 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 ever. Don't do it. Don't do it. Whether or not men are as simple-minded as Banks suggests, her explanation doesn't account for why her film's target audience, young, empowered women, have also stayed away from the cinema. What? So, are you trying to tell me that women don't know what a good movie is? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Really? Because I could tell you how many women love A League of Their Own. How many women love that movie? Tell me in the comments. If you love A League of Their Own, tell me in the comments. Come on, man. And this is the exact same thing. They're insulting our intelligence. They're making it seem as if it's only because, as if, oh, well, it's only because men don't go watch, or it's only because it was a comic book movie. No, dude, the movie fucking sucks. The movie fucking sucks. It's like music. It's exactly like music. Have you ever heard those female rappers and then they start rapping about their vagina and you're just like, okay, I don't want to hear it anymore. You've heard those songs, and I know Cardi B does that quite a bit, but I really don't listen to her. I think my sister does. But it's like, dude, when you start rapping about like Amy Schumer. I remember I was watching one scene from her, and it was like 12 minutes long, a clip of her stand-up, and she talked about her vagina for like 12 minutes. I mean, I guess that's funny. That's hilarious when I guess. There was a lot of women laughing. Well, I guess there was people laughing. Because you couldn't see the crowd. You heard people laughing, but you know how those recorded stand-up things are. They can just use whatever. But still, let's say people were laughing at her, right? They were laughing at her jokes. Dude, it was like 12 minutes and she was doing nothing but talking about her vagina. I mean, even women don't like Amy Schumer because she does that so often. I know that there's a lot of women that think that kind of comedy is funny. Hey, that's great for them. It's called preference. That's your preference. That's good for you. But this has nothing to do with preference. If you know what, fine. After this, actually, no, we still have a lot of this. After this article, we're going to go look how much money all those movies made. That's what we're going to do. The more mundane truth here is that the whole concept of this feminist Charlie's Angels reboot is fundamentally flawed. It wants to keep the silliness of the original TV show and be a modern high-tech spy thriller, and it wants to make feminist points along the way. Ugh. See, and that's what I'm talking about. Feminist points. We don't care. That's great. Like, it's amazing, but we didn't like it. Like in the Amber Heard thing, like when they kept on talking about Johnny Depp doing drugs. We don't care. That's not why we're here. We're not here to talk about Johnny Depp being a fucking drug addict, man. We're not here for that. We're here because we want to watch a movie. We want to be entertained. We want to shove our faces full of fucking popcorn and Sour Patch Kids. And I want to drink a cherry Coke that's like this big and not feel bad about it. That's why I'm at the movies. I'm not at the movies for you to tell me how horrible I am because I'm a man. That's all there is to it. You see? And that's what we're talking about with A League of Their Own. A League of Their Own never had anything having to do with feminism. Never had anything having to do with it. Why? Because A League of Their Own was about women doing something amazing. It wasn't a woman movie. Okay? The 2000s Charlie's Angels movies worked because the stars Diaz, Barrymore, and Lou made fun of themselves. Oh, do you think that these women today could do that? No way. And that is uncool. You have to be able to make fun of yourself. I've made fun of myself so many times on here. I'm not saying I'm cool or anything. No. But what I'm saying is you have to be able to make fun of yourself. Comedy. You have to be able to make people laugh in a certain way. Feminists don't do that. Feminists don't even like comedy. They hate me because I'm making fun of them most of the time. They knew they were playing ludicrous characters and embraced this. The new Angels, by contrast, are humorless and woke. And this is 3 years ago, man. Adept to lecturing, sneering, and putting down unreconstructed men. What the fuck? And no one, male or female, wants to be condescended to during their afternoon out at the cinema. It's right there, man. It's right there. And no one, male or female, wants to be condescended to during their afternoon out at the cinema. Dude, that's so true, man. That's so fucking true. Why would you want to go to a movie? And then you're watching the movie, you got a fucking fistful of popcorn in your mouth, you got a nice cherry Coke right there, and it's sweating because there's so much ice in there. And now, damn, I'm getting thirsty now. Damn. And then you got a nice cherry Coke right there, and you got some Sour Patch Kids waiting for you right after the popcorn. Oh, man. Somebody call me for that one because I want to go to that theater. I was going to say cinema. That cinema. I want to go to that theater. Okay, and then right here. This points to an underlying problem with today's feminist identity politics. It tries to understand social relations almost solely through the prism of gender relations. And when this theatrical model oversteps its boundaries and starts to inform how culture is made, it creates untruthful, uninvolving, and banal art. Banal? Is that how you say it? Banal? B-A-N-A-L. Be-anal. The feminist call for more female representation in cinema has created a genre of what could be called the female voice film. No, it's just a feminist film. The same could be said for films which are said to give voice to racial and sexual minorities. I don't know. To translate from, I don't even know what that is, racial and sexual minorities. Talking about black people? You're talking about black people? There's black movies all the time. Tyler Perry. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, whatever. To translate from the cultural studies jargon, there's your college degree, cultural studies. There's your college degree. Oh, yeah, I graduated. What'd you graduate with? Cultural studies degree. Oh, okay, so you mean you're not going to be able to get a job? I'm kidding. Voice here refers to films in which a particular identity group is in front and center. They star in these films and usually take a larger share of the writing, directing, and production credits. These films are supposedly informed by the experiences of these identity groups in contrast to all other films. By default, are said to reflect a white, male, and heteronormative experience. I'm not even going to go into that because that's politics. In this schema, individuals are reduced to an identity, one based not on their totality, but on only a small part of who they are. This inevitably makes for shallow, two-dimensional films in which identity, rather than busting ghosts or carrying out heists, drives the plot and motivates the characters. Exactly. And that's because Ghostbusters, the woman one, was so bad, they literally made a brand new one that didn't even bother to bring them up. Even films like the all-female Ghostbusters reboot, in which the individual performances are human, engaging, and often hilarious, are in the end nullified by this reductionist framework. These films also tend to feature lots of clunking expositional dialogue, which expresses the filmmaker's agenda rather than the character's inner life. People instantly recognize this. You know what he said? Notice what this person said? People. He didn't say men. You insult the intelligence of women by pretending that it's only men that don't want to go see these feminist movies. You insult that because are you trying to say that women can't tell what a good movie is? Is that what you're fucking trying to tell me? That's total bullshit, man. That's total crap. People instantly. This is why people stay away from films that pander to voices, and why so many men and women do not enjoy self-consciously female films. They present diminished caricatures of women, men, and human relations, which people experience as untrue. Ideological point scoring makes for terrible cinema. And there it is.